definitely burn all that off and deal like 30 or 40 damage. So there you go. Try and cut a side deal with her. I forgot that there was a second negotiation in this, so I probably shouldn't have allowed my health to get so low off the first one. But I drew a really good starting hand, and we should be able to knock this out pretty easily. Because they're going to get the buffs to attack me right off the bat. But I can just smoke them. Yeah, it definitely took me a hot minute to get my head around this game too, Josh. But I'm digging it. I'm digging, like, because the way the two decks like interact with each other and how the stuff you do in the game affects both decks. It takes a second, but man, is it fun. So this is a boss fight for day 3. Basically, when you fight one of them, when you beat one of them, the other one gets enraged. So you have to be careful to get one low in the time that you're going to beat the other guy. Yes, exactly, Josh. And like the first time you play it, you never know that. Like I just focus fired one guy down the first time I played it, and then I died. And then you get to that point, you unlock new cards, and you get better. So I'm going to stack a whole bunch of bleed on him to make him like a ticking time bomb of going to die. And then start focusing on him when he gets to about halfway. So the bleed will start ticking down his health as the other guy starts going at it. There we go. Gain defense equal to target's bleed. Let's just get some more. Don't really have much to do. I don't necessarily need to give myself defense. They weren't planning on attacking me. But yeah, so you're right with the whole getting them both low and then killing them is the way to do it. Definitely. But with this deck, that becomes kind of hard because you're trying to gauge when your bleed is going to get them low. It's not as easy as just straight damage. So I kind of have to juggle how much bleed each guy has. So this guy has 3 bleed. If I get defense and counter. So defense, and then this will give me 4 more defense. So I've got 7 counter and 19 defense. Oh yeah, as soon as you run out of your discard pile, it just gets run out of your draw pile, it just gets shuffled back in. There's things called expend, which means that the card goes into essentially exile for 1 combat. And then there's a thing called destroy, which means the card's gone forever. But I haven't hit any of that stuff yet. So where is that damage coming from? It's coming from you. So I want to apply cripple to you so that damage gets a little less. And as you see with that hemorrhage, which means I heal every time I put bleed, my health is full and it hasn't changed. Like it goes down a little bit and then I heal back up, and it goes down a little bit and I heal right back up. So it is really just a great card to have. So we'll go Gash here. He seems pretty low, especially with his bleed, so I'm going to try and focus on him. you don't get to control where your AI guys go. So it's kind of it's going to be a rush now to get this guy down. Because the bleed's going to help there, and I can't tell where these guys are going to put their attacks. Although it does look like they're stacking their attacks here, which is good for me. Bleed, counter, defense, draw card. Got it. So this guy already being low, if I pop him to kill him, this will be almost perfect. So they just have random, they've got like a random dice generator on what move they use, and there's a different, well actually this is perfect. This will indicate what they're doing. This damage will kill that guy, and that damage will kill that guy. So I almost don't need to do anything. I can just like pop that in. But yeah, they have like a random dice generator of what moves they can do. And it'll show you like what their intention is, but you don't really have a great way of gauging what that actually means in the long run. I don't see anything here that I want. I'm really just looking for bleed cards or things that give me influence at this point, because the deck is made. It's really done well. So this will be more bleed. The more bleed, the better. And you could run it in different ways. If I would have pulled discard cards in the beginning, I would have built the card in a discard combo way, or a lot of like combo cards can do well, but in the beginning I got some good bleed cards, and I'm gonna just stay this course for that. It's really hard in this game to switch what you're trying to build your deck around. Like halfway, because it's very easy to make one little mistake and lose, but the game is pretty forgiving for that. After we finish this run, you'll see that you'll get experience for the run, and then it'll give you more cards. Make an offering or meditate. So upgrade a negotiation card or remove a negotiation card. I'll go ahead and upgrade one. I'll upgrade you to apply 3 and then double. That really makes that card a lot better and a lot more reliable. And this is another mission for the Admiralty. I've been trying to get all of these being Admiralty missions. Heal 1 per bleed on a target. Perfect. Just stacking in. And I'm able to look at these cards because I've played this game so much and pick them out pretty quickly. But don't feel bad if you're like just playing this for the first time, and just take your time. You're going to lose a couple times, but that's fine. Like, lose and learn, because it's all about just learning. And then being outnumbered like this, what I really want to do is focus one down, take it out. Focus another one down, take it out. These two in the back, the red ones, they heal. So it's going to be hard to take them out. There you go. This will give me 16 defense, which will help. And the counter will help a lot as well. It'll knock the small pups out, so I'll only end up taking 1 damage. So which one's attacking me? That one will attack me. There's no bleed on any of them, but there could be. Oh, I probably didn't need to do that. I could have just done the 1 bleed and then added some defense and counter. But adding the bleed will heal me through hemorrhage and from so hits all enemies. Yep. And then expend is not destroy, so that'll just get put into exile and put back into my deck. It's a good card. It's especially for the defense and then the combo, but I think taking more cards that aren't 100% into our theme is going to water down our deck at this point. Remove a negotiation card or remove a battle card. Let's look at our battle cards. Basically, I'm looking for something that isn't going to be just 100% into our theme. And our battle deck is pretty standardized, pretty straightforward. And it's pretty good. What if I look at my negotiation deck? I still have that one. So if I pull this out, I'll have no hostility cards. Ooh, and 150 shields for another sparing. Great. So this technically would have been my 4th sparing, but I made that bad decision and the one guy who gave me the buff died. So it'll be my third active at this point. I think I'll go here to pick up the card. Get the sequencer. And then go and grab this mission. So this mission's to go pick up the head of the like rogue faction. So we'll have to go. There's going to be a pretty big combat associated with this, but I could try and convince this guy to come with me for the combat. It'll be perfect if I can get him to come with me. So if I apply the invulnerability, and then 7 should double the 14. So I want to maintain as much influence as possible. We'll see if I can get, there we go, finger guns. The other option I could have done there is to apply some of the smarts and give myself some vulnerability, but I want to maintain as high a health as possible. And I'm going to take some damage here. I may just let it happen. If I hit this, it'll be for... This will reduce 2 damage there and then 2 damage on the flashback. Oh, and then I could have done the extra help. Never mind. Okay, so, you know, you live, you learn, you make mistakes. I never said I was the best person at this game, but this will give me some more influence. And then I can improvise a card, gain 3 smarts, 2 invulnerability, and then finger guns to win. So it looks like we're actually doing pretty well. This will be the bottom of day 4, and day 5 is really just 2 negotiations and a boss fight. So I can try and convince this guy to come away with me, or essentially convincing that guy to not be part of the boss fight. So gain 2 influence, gaining another influence, and then spending it. So this will be essentially 40 damage, or no, a very, like 20 damage. I completely misjudged that, but he's going to have a big hit in to begin with. I'll have another couple hits in there. Smarts. I could apply 5 composure. I think the composure should go to myself because a lot of this damage splash over is going to be, it's going to hurt. Okay, and I will essentially try and refill the finger guns and then be able to win off that turn. Spend 2 influence. I don't want to spend my influence, and I'm not interested in red cards for this deck. We are too far along. 1 invulnerability with 3 smarts is just fine. Let's capture him. So this boss fight is the boss fight for day 4. He's going to spawn 2 guys, go through 2 phases. He'll either spawn 2 guys or he'll fight himself. And having the extra people here to soak up damage will basically just make this a how fast can you apply a bunch of bleed to this dude. And all of this is gaining defense instead of applying defense. The difference is that when you gain defense, it has to go to you. When you apply defense, it can go to anybody. So again, he's not hitting me, which doesn't help me at all. But I can just try and get that bleed stack up as high as possible. So now we have a bunch of people. So try to draw 3 cards to get as much as we can. I'm going to try and counter the thing that... See, I'm already applying a bunch of defense. There you go. So that's 10 defense, which will get rid of the 5 damage I'm taking. I'll take a debuff, but I'll also counter for a bunch there. Now, he will dismiss his ads by himself, so you don't necessarily need to even to fight them. They're gonna soak up a bunch of, the AI will attack them for no reason, because you don't really have a whole lot of control over that, but... And normally taking a bunch of damage like this would be an issue, but because I heal every time I apply bleed, and my entire deck is finely tuned to apply as much bleed as possible, it really... I mean, I didn't happen to get any cards that apply bleed in the hand, but... You'll notice that my health keeps going up a little bit. Every time I hit the bleed. So I'm gonna get hit 3 times this turn. So counter would have been really nice to have. But I can go fishing for it by drawing some cards. This will heal me. So I am gonna take, 11 damage, but I did stack a bunch of bleed, and I did heal up to full, so my health will go back down. Then I could... I think I just apply defense, and then, because that card applies more and more bleed damage the more cards I'd played that turn. So even though I'm not getting hit, applying a bunch of defense to myself. And this little robot, one of the best cards I played, just soaking up so much. I'm going to get hit, so get some counter, apply more counter. Okay, so Maples asked a great question. Why don't I apply defense to my friendlies? So there is a reason to that, and I'll tell you as soon as the cards come back up. A lot of the cards I've upgraded here so far, it's changed apply defense to gain defense. Now, when it says gain, I can't give it to anybody else but myself. And when it says apply, I can give it to other people. Now, there is a build, like apply, I could totally drag to anybody, but the ones I've upgraded to give myself counter say gain. And it, if I'm not getting hit, the gain defense doesn't help me. But you're right. You're completely right that I should throw some over there. Um, yes. Counter builds are hard until you get later in the game because you end up getting more and more counter cards. And, oh, oops. So that was, what you just witnessed there was a problem in the bleed builds. Is sometimes you go a little overboard with the bleed and people die. So I'll have to go back to Ulo and tell her I got unstable, which is not a great card to have for your negotiation deck. And I have to go back to Ulo and tell her, like, I just killed the dude that I was supposed to be bringing back to you. She doesn't like that. I don't think I get a graft because he's dead. No, I won't. And it means I'm going into day 5 without her loving me. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world for her to love me, especially now that I've got all 3 sparing. So, Maples, I'm not sure if you in the run, if you've prioritized getting this sparring boon, but I had, at one point in this run, I had 4 of them, so all my defense cards were +4, but now one of those guys died, so I only have 3 of them. But having every defense card +3 has been the difference between winning runs and losing runs for me. And we'll go into the auction day, which is the final boss of. So the auction in the final day, I can convince him to look the other way. I can attack him. He'll have a diminished opinion of me. I don't really care if what he cares about me. We'll try and have him look the other way. Oh yes, the follow through back roll deck, so good if you're going with combo. The only reason I went with bleed for this run is because in the beginning I got some great bleed cards and great bleed graphs. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm going bleed now. But that combo deck that you just described, super good. Very good build. And then the way the influence deck kind of panned out is that, or the negotiation deck panned out around influence. So it's going to stack a lot of influence building cards and then gaining attack off just building influence. So I just took a massive hit there. I'm going to try and mitigate some of this. Let's go ahead and just see how that goes. I may lose this negotiation, which won't be good, which will mean that I don't get to participate in the auction. And then finger guns. So finger guns is the way that this deck was made to win, but I don't think it won't be quite enough. So no, so I'll still get through. I may have to beat up this guy, and I won't be able to do any more. Darn. So Bully's going to negate one of those. We'll see if we can still get through the last boss. That was pretty bad. But if I still haven't lost yet, so I could redo this day if it comes down to it. I'm going to hang back with the security force, which takes me out of the auction, but I didn't have any resolve to compete in the auction anyway. Get a buddy, have Olo come in and attack, apply some counter. gain some power and then some defense. Hemorrhage is what's going to keep me into this, because it'll basically heal me off all this bleed. And my health is going to fluctuate a ton. It's going to go down. And then I'm going to go back up with I think I may just go there. That'll end him. So let's try and stun him. Bleed. Draw cards before. And then apply the cripple. So he's got 4 stacks of bleed. Defense. Hit. Cripple. Heal. So apply the defense, defense, counter, defense. Okay, so let's try this one more time. It should allow me to restart the day, and I'm definitely not... Oh yeah, this is definitely... Though this character plays a lot like the rogue in WoW. You're right, Matt. So you're only allowed to do this once, where you could retry it from the day. I'm definitely not going to negotiate with that guy. If I have to, like... Oh no, it's a different person. Beautiful. So, I can let him enter the auction, or I can tell him about the plan. Either way, or I can provoke him into attacking me. If I provoke him into attacking me, then I'll have to do a combat, but I can kill him with almost no repercussions. So this is going much simpler than before. He's already about 50%. Okay. So I am taking some damage here. I can gain some influence. And then 4 goes to 7, doubles to 14, so the spillover won't hurt me as much. And I'm going to have to get rid of 18 damage worth of stuff fast. Which will be good. Because I could finger guns my way to victory. Okay. Let's just take some money. Okay. So I got a graft upgrade from that. Which is good, but it's a little late in the game for some graft upgrades to matter. But I provoked him to fight me. So let's see what we can do here. 7 defense and some counter. 7 defense and some counter, so I'll hit him back. Even more defense, and we'll cripple him. So this will help actually a ton because it'll level these cards up. Now, while I'll be taking some damage now, the deck is made to mitigate some damage. I kind of want to save those cards for the last boss fight. The last boss fight is still very hard. He has bleed, so I can cripple him. Apply my defense. And apply 5 defense. So this time, instead of being -1 defense from having that bad luck in the negotiation, I'm actually +3. Oh, nice. Do you want me to... Josh, do you want me to set up anything on my end of titles or anything for you for when you stream tonight? Discard your hand, gain 2 defense and 2 counter for each card discarded. I think I'll do that. But your keyboard is loud. So I lose brutality because he becomes indifferent of me. Let's just hang with the security forces and go right into the game. No problem, man. And let me know when you're streaming. I'll throw it on. I'll talk to you just like you're hanging out with me. Ooh, heal right off the bat. 7 defense. Guess we might as well start the bleed train. Okay, so I'm getting hit a bunch. But he has counter stacked on him. So if I get some defense, if I stun him, can he counter me while he's stunned? Let's see. Let's see if he can counter me while he's stunned. No, he can't. Good, good, good. His counter is dropped off, so it might as well. Yep. He's gonna hit, and I'll counter him. Get her to attack. Let's see how this goes. This may be, it's a lot of counterattack damage coming at me, but it's a lot of debuffs on him. And the healing from the bleeding caused to him is actually helping me a lot in here. You can see this is going much better than before. So I still took a little bit of damage there, but I can apply 2 bleed, and then heal for the bleed dealt, and then there you go. So he's now got 11 stacks of bleed, so he'll take 11 damage at the end of his turn. Okay, this is getting a little hairy. So it'll be 3. So yeah, I think I messed this up. I could have attacked him to try and take him out, and then he wouldn't have killed me, but... Well, that was our try towards beating it, to getting Prestige 3. We got all the way up to the final boss, and we weren't able to do it. But, as you can see, we did unlock a bunch of extra cards that'll be going into our next run. And when we go into our next run, I can start with him liking me, or I can start with adding this card to my starting deck. So, thanks for staying around. If you haven't hit that follow button,